live. It's 6:30 Pacific time, and thank you everybody for showing up. I appreciate it. And like I always say in the beginning, we're talking about detoxification. And the kind of detox we're talking about is lymphatic detox. You have a lymph system. It's got miles and miles of tubes. It's 3 times the size of your blood system. Nobody talks about it except a few people. But it is the cause, I believe, of at least 95% of all the suffering of man. So it's very important that we understand it's super simple. Basically, we just open up the kidney door. The kidney filters this lymph system of acids and toxins, and we get the kidneys filtering. And we eat alkaline forming foods. We don't eat acidic foods, okay? And the alkaline foods are your fruits and your vegetables uncooked. So that's basically it. It's that easy. So we return to nature. We return to the diet that we're supposed to be eating, and the magic happens on many, many levels. And, one of them is on the health level. The body restores itself. The body has a perfect idea of what its perfection is, and it always wants to return to that. And it is just waiting for you to step up and provide it with the proper nutrition and the proper chemistry, if you will, to put back in the body. So that's it in its simplest form. So basically, at the point that we're at as a species, we kind of moved out of the tropics where we're from initially, and we had to go and eat things that and adapt to the environment. So we started doing crazy things like eating animals and drinking milk out of cows and cooking our food and all kinds of things that have caused the problems. That's my belief, and actually that's my truth. Because when I did switch back to a high fruit diet and raw vegetables, just a lot of great changes happened. So that's why I can talk about it so easily, and that's why I can hopefully inspire you guys, because it's my living truth. So anyways, with that being said, I wanted to go over a few things and answer some questions. I kind of go through and answer a couple questions that have come in throughout the week here to try and help people. And I always have a little story about what happened to me during the week. So I want to talk about this great restaurant. And Bitsy's back. Hi, come on, say hi. Bitsy's back. She was up with Riley, my daughter, for a week, enjoying Santa Barbara. So she's back slumming it with us in Ventura. So anyways, good to have her back. But anyways, ate at a great restaurant called Farm in Malibu. And it's an organic, locally grown vegetables. Had a great, vegetarian menu. And I had a cauliflower pizza. I know it sounds disgusting, but they made the crust out of cauliflower. And they put raw tomatoes on it and some, I forget exactly, some basil and some nice things. And it was really good. The crust wasn't raw. It was cooked a little bit. But that was fine, and no side effects at all. And I was sitting there, and I looked across the restaurant, and there was Owen Wilson, and he was having sort of a business meeting. So they were enjoying it too. So I thought I'd just name drop a little bit, but that was kind of interesting to see him there. But it was a great restaurant, and I really enjoyed it. So. I told my horror story about eating bowling alley food last time. So this is actually a good story. To find a restaurant that was conscious and that was, sourcing locally grown fresh produce was awesome. And had a salad, a Greek salad with kale and all that. So it was really wonderful and just felt great the next day. So wanted to share that. Wasn't completely raw, but that's fine. You can do great on some cooked foods also. Just whatever your body can tolerate. So anyways, that's it. Wanted to talk about the fact that, I was listening to a candidate, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to get political at all. And I try to stay out of this. I call it the left-right paradigm. A lot of people call it that. It's sort of like, I look at it as all-star wrestling. Both sides are controlled sort of by the same group, and they get us kind of divided and fighting with each other. And both sides I think have great points and some negative points as well. But anyways, this candidate who has dropped out of the race because he didn't get any response. What I heard him talking months ago, saying he was asked directly if he thought that the corporations like Monsanto or the big food companies should label, on their products if there's GMO. And he said no, and right to the camera, and I couldn't believe it. And the reporter asked him, "Well, why not?" And he said, I couldn't believe he said this. He said, "It's too much of a burden on the corporation to have to do the labeling." I thought, well, I mean, they have to put the ingredients on every food product anyways. I mean, is it that much more to say it's GMO? Well, quite honestly, I mean, look, there's so many studies. If you just do a 5-minute Google search, you can see that genetically modified foods have caused a lot of problems, especially with fertility in the rats. I mean, by the second and third generation, they're sterile. So, is this a eugenics operation? In other words, are they trying to slow the population growth down kind of in a silent way through the food? I don't know. But, I stay far away from this. And I remember when I was sort of getting on this bandwagon that I thought soy was this fantastic panacea. Oh God, I can have the soy sausages, and I remember buying actually soy chorizo at Trader Joe's, and I would mix that with my eggs back when I was eating eggs, and I thought, oh my God, this is a great workaround. This is fantastic. But 95, 98% of soy is genetically modified now, so they've ruined that. And soy is estrogenic too. In other words, it boosts up estrogen, and that can be a problem not only for men but for women. The sex hormones, the estrogen and testosterone, are acidic hormones, and they need to be countered with antacids, especially from the adrenals called progesterone. So if you have weak adrenals, which a lot of us do, then we get all this acidity in our pelvic area, which causes the inflammation, prostatitis in men, the all the cysts and fibroids, endometriosis, all these things in the women. So yeah, I would avoid soy completely. Yeah, it just has a lot going against it. So anyways, wanted to talk about I was talking to somebody, and they were saying, I just don't have an appetite anymore. What's going on? And we got to talking and correlated a few things, what was happening in their bodies. But you can lose your appetite when you have inflammation in your stomach and your bowels, because all that inflammation is now in there, which is causing discomfort and bloating and all that. And you're not going to be hungry. So just look into that if you've lost your appetite. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there. Also, sore throats. Sore throats can happen very quickly. It's all the lymph system. Okay, and I've noticed before, I'll have a sore throat, but once I clear the phlegm, once I get rid of the mucus, that sore throat magically disappears very quickly. So I wanted to throw that thing out there too for you. Okay, so GB had a question. Thanks for all your videos. I'm learning a lot. Okay, that's awesome. I just purchased Dr. Morse's 1 and 2 week formula. So that's the first kit of Dr. Morse's 14-week protocol. Okay, you don't have to do all 14 weeks. You can just purchase a few of the weeks if you want, depending on what you have going on. I'm trying to cure herpes. Are there any additional herbs that you would recommend? I will also be doing a completely raw fruit and vegetable diet while I'm on the herbs. Okay, so you cannot get rid of herpes or any virals just by going, high fruit and raw veggies, okay? You're going to need the assistance of the herbs. Of course, what first comes to mind is your parasite M and your parasite G, the anti-parasitic herbs. Those are really great antivirals. Moving the lymph system is really the key, though. You got to get the kidneys open. You've got to start moving lymph and detoxifying the body. These virals can be very insidious. They can hide, okay? But when you're really digging down and detoxing, okay, the 4-way detox, I'm going to repeat myself again. Open the kidneys, number 1. Number 2, go after the endocrine glands, especially the adrenal glands, to get the kidneys to work properly. Adrenals they're little walnut-shaped glands that sit on top of the kidneys. They control the kidneys. Okay, so the endocrine glands are the little kind of generals that run the machine. Okay, so you want to go after the endocrine glands. There's number 2. Number 3, detox the stomach and the bowels at the same time. Okay, that's the trunk of the tree. Everything, has a connection to that. That's got to be clean, okay, or you can't detox. And then also the head sits on top of the GI tract. So the head needs to drain to make sure that the pituitary, the master gland that controls all the other glands, is functioning properly. Okay. And then last but not least is move the lymph. There's herbs that actually move the lymph system, that help that stuff move. The lymph is a slow moving river, okay? And sometimes it gets stuck. We take in all these acids, all this acidic food, and we lead a sedentary life. We can actually, a lot of us sit at a desk 8 hours a day. Then we go get in our car for an hour each way. There's 2 hours. That's 10 hours right there of just sitting. Okay. So you got to move lymph, both with the herbs, the high fruit, and with physical movement. It doesn't have its own pump like the heart, so you need to move that. Okay. So there's your 4-way detox. So that's the only way you're going to get rid of herpes or any virus. That can be HIV, that could be Ebola, that can be Hep C, whatever. Okay. And it's actually easy to get rid of virals when you're detoxing. This is the little known thing. They actually come right out of you. Some of them, like your shingles, which is herpes of the myelin sheaths, which are the wrapping in the nerves, that can be a little more difficult. There are some more difficult ones to get out, but they will all come out. Okay, so there's your hope. So detoxification with the help of the herbs, 4-way detox, dig deep, kidney filtration, get that slow moving, sewer/lymph system moving, and if it's blocked by some obstructions, you want to go after those little areas. You can put hot and cold packs on those. You can use castor oil packs to get in there and soften the lymph in those areas. You can do some extra massage in those areas, things like that. Okay. All right. Yeah, viruses are proteins. They're really just proteins is all they are. They're intelligent little suckers, though. They know how to hide. So you do have to dig deep, okay? Also, a lot of people say that when they eat pineapples, their herpes or their cold sores flare up. And that's because the pineapples that we're mostly eating are picked too early. And they're very, very acidic. And Dr. Morse says you'll lose your teeth if you eat these pineapples, okay? So if you do buy a pineapple, make sure it's super, super, super sweet, okay? And don't buy the green ones, all right? And if you do choose to eat it, rinse your mouth out afterwards. And you may want to take a little tiny bit of sodium bicarbonate, some baking soda in there just to have an alkaline, super alkaline wash over that. So be very, very careful with the pineapples and the kiwis, okay? And even the strawberries. I'm in strawberry country up here. Oxnard is just full of strawberries. But sometimes I'll buy a basket, and they're not sweet. So just make sure if you do that you do rinse, okay? Because the teeth thing, that's something I really do have to talk about. I was born with really good teeth, but when I did go high fruit, I didn't really watch it. And I think what happened is that over the years, I may have had some weak spots in my teeth that didn't show up. But when I went high fruit and wasn't really conscious of the ripeness and of rinsing my mouth and things like that, I did have more cavities. Okay, so I want you to be careful of that, you guys, because that is an issue. All right, so be conscious of that, because I don't like dentists. Okay, I don't like doctors for that matter. So anyways, that's a way to stay away from them. All right. Okay, so AK writes in and says, is water fasting a good way to clean the lymph? I don't really, preach water fasting. I think it's great, but I think that the fruit fasting is better for a lot of ways. Does it dig as deep as a long water fast? I don't know, but it digs deep enough, and you have the energetics, especially when you're eating the grapes. The grapes are super energetic, and you need energy for healing, and they also are very, very alkalizing. And it's very hard to get sour grapes if you're buying the darker grapes. Some of the green grapes I have gotten sour grapes, but you know when I buy my darker grapes, they're always sweet. I've noticed that, and yeah, if you see them and they're off color, you can really notice it with the darker ones. You can kind of see if they're just not right. You know, if they don't have a richness to them, then I avoid those. But I'm very good at getting super sweet you know, grapes. And the thing about fruit is that if you ever watch these wine documentaries that are on Netflix, they're really great, and they talk about how they wait until the sugar is just right in the grape. You know, they'll sit on the vine, and a day or two late, day or two early really makes a difference. So yeah, so the the sweetness of the fruit is all predicated upon how long it stays on the vine or on the tree or on the plant. So that's just something to know, especially if you're picking your own. So, but the grapes have been great as far as being, super sweet. They're super hydrating. So I think that they're superior to water fasting for most people. Okay. Um, and yeah, if you have something that really, really requires a water fast, I don't know what that is. I'm not really, well versed in that area. You can reach out to Lauren Lockman, Tanglewood Wellness Center, Costa Rica. He's got a YouTube channel. You can find him pretty easy. He might answer your questions there. Okay, but as far as lymph movement, lymph cleaning, all that, you need the magic of the fruit, and you also need the herbs. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay. All right. So Liza had blood pressure of 175 over 100. Now that's really, really a strange blood pressure. And let me explain the blood pressures. Okay, so the top number is the systolic, and that's sort of they call it the adrenal punch, okay? That's like the heart punch, all right? The max pressure, boom. Okay, the resting is the lower, the diastolic. Okay, so we got 175 over 100. What's that telling us? Okay, the top number is the adrenal glands, related to the adrenal glands, okay, and the nervous system. That's telling us that it's overstimulated. Okay, now it's a very high number compared to the lower number, so that's telling me that this person's either on some medications or some herbs. Okay, um, and or else that adrenal gland is kind of maybe going a little haywire from a mucus obstruction. I don't know. Dr. Morse says that he doesn't really even care about that upper number. Okay, he likes it between 120 and 130. Okay, that's optimal, but he says throw out that upper number if you get a haywire reading. Okay, so I'm going to take that as it is, all right? So the lower number should be between 60 and 70. So we know that that's a lot of inflammation. So let's say that we brought that lower number back down to between 60, let's call it 65. Okay, so that's 35 points off, okay? We take that 35 points off the top number, so now we're down to 140 over 65. Okay, so we're still high. All right, so I guess from this number, we know that you need to get those kidneys open and get them detoxified, get the inflammation out of them. You have high blood pressure. Okay, so we're just going off that lower number. Okay, so you're 30 to 40 points high there. So you have high blood pressure. So you need to really work on those kidneys and detoxify the whole body. Okay, so the top number is really important when it gets low. Okay, so when you're below 118, now you're getting into low adrenal pressure. Low is you have adrenal weakness. Okay, and you can start to feel tired and sluggish. Okay, your nervous system can start to go down. Below 100, you're going into chronic fatigue now. Okay, and you're starting to lose your myelin sheaths, that nerve wrapping I'm talking about. You're losing your nervous system. You're losing your autonomic nervous system. That's your worker bee nervous system, okay? So that top number is important when it gets low. When it gets high, Dr. Morse says to just throw it out, okay? So we're going to go with that. All right, so I hope that explains that. yeah, you have high blood pressure. All right. Okay, so I got more over here. I'm gonna go to the live people, and I didn't neglect you. Okay, here we go. Gigi, I have benign vertigo where ear rocks are loose in both ears, causing chronic dizziness, vertigo, tinnitus, ear fullness for 5 months. What do you suggest? I'm getting 8 weeks physical therapy. Yeah, we talked. Yeah, we talked about that. You have these inner ear problems. I think I addressed this last time. You know, you have to detoxify the head. All right, but like I say, you can't just, the body, you can't just go after one area. You have to detoxify the whole body. So again, open the kidney doors. Do you have kidney filtration? Are you moving lymph? If you're seeing the clouds in the urine in the morning after not eating or drinking for 10 or 12 hours, that's a good clue. Okay, if you see cloudiness, that means you're getting kidney filtration. So you want to get kidney filtration. When you do have a little bit, then you can kick up the lymphatic herbs. Okay, you can go on a higher fruit tide. You can start moving lymph. Okay, get the GI tract drained so the head can drain, and then go in with upper circulation and brain and nerve herbs. Okay, those specifically go after the head. Upper circulation and brain and nerve herbs. Okay, and then you want to hit the neurolymphatic points. There's a video on my website how to do that. You hit these points here, you massage them. You can ear candle. Hot and cold showers alternating can start moving lymph in the head. Okay. You have acidosis up in the head. That's never good. That leads to memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, cataracts, hearing loss, of course, balance problems, every sense you have, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, all those, it's just not good. All right. You've been given an early sign here. This is wonderful. Take it as a blessing. Take all of these signs, you guys, as blessings that you need to heal. Okay, you need to call in the healing power of Mother Nature. Okay, she wants to help you. I'm getting a little spiritual here, as I promised. Okay, the mother is your friend. All right, and I have a saying on my site. I say, um, the the earth is my church. Okay, and that's sort of how I feel. This we have a battle going on here. Okay, the battle is between intellectualism and technology and the mind, and also between the spiritual world, which is nature. Nature is a manifestation of spirit. Okay, and that's where the only healing really is. Okay, so we want to go and we want to call on Mother Nature to help us. Okay, she has provided us with these wonderful fruits and these leafy soft greens. Okay, these are our healers. She's provided us with the intelligence of the herbs to help us. Okay, and I was told a story the other night, a really beautiful story. Was talking to this guy, and he's from Brazil, and he asked me what I did, and I said, well, I help detoxify people. He says, well, what is that? I said, I just lead people to the plants and let the plants do the healing. He says, that's so great. He says, I have a story to tell you. He says that I heard about a guy that actually lived out in the jungle, and he's just one of these native tribesmen living out in the jungle, and he is a very well-known healer in that area of Brazil, and you go to him, and he goes out into the forest, and he picks the herbs that are good for you, and when asked, well, how do you know what herbs to pick? He said that a voice comes in and tells me. And he doesn't charge a thing for his services. And he says because the voice told him if he ever charges, he'll never hear the voice again. So anyways, that's my little spiritual story there. So put your faith back in nature, okay? There's more healing power in that apple or that orange than in those pharmaceuticals. Those pharmaceuticals are isolated chemistry. They're pulled out of the natural world. They're chemicals. They're isolates, okay? They're man-made, man-doctored. They don't have the holistic intelligence of the herbs, okay, and of the fruit. All right, and that's been my experience. All right, that is my truth. Okay, so there you go. We have everything we need to heal. Okay, the only thing we need to add is faith. All right. So I hope that helps. You're getting 8 weeks of physical therapy. I don't know what that means. One thing, yeah, and that reminds me, if you have head issues, head drainage issues, okay, it's a good thing to probably go to a chiropractor and make sure that everything's in line, so you have an energetic flow, back and forth. So that might help you as well. Okay. So hopefully that physical therapy is addressing the alignment of the neck and upper spine. Okay. LD, LaDonna, soy is not good for women with a history of breast cancer. No, it's estrogenic, those any high estrogen. See, this is the problem with the cancers, the breast cancers and the pelvic cancers and all that, is that weak adrenals, you can't make the antacid steroids, the progesterone to counter all that estrogen, and you start to inflame. It starts shutting down the lymph system. That lymph stagnates. It becomes more and more acidic. Those acids burn away at the tissues and the cells, and then they start to mutate. And then the natural killer cells, the lymphocytes, the T cells, the B cells, all those wonderful, that army that comes in and gets rid of these cells can't get there. Okay? The road is blocked. And this stuff just festers and it proliferates. And, even though Dr. Morse reiterates that the virals are easy to get out of the body, the pathogens are easy to get out, if they overwhelm you, they can take over. And you may not have the strength or the power to get rid of this stuff, if it gets too much. So you want to get this stuff early. That's why I say these signs that are coming at us are wonderful gifts, okay? They're really great. The stuff that is not life-threatening is a wonderful message that we are receiving, okay? And so take these signs and run with them and start your detox, okay? Before it gets too, before it takes you over, all right? Mark, I've heard you say you still drink coffee. What specifically do you drink? Instant espresso or decaf? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm not perfect. When I'm detoxing, I don't do it. But I'll tell you, I love coffee. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it, and I love what it does with me. I'll have one cup in the morning, and that's it. And uh, I like espresso. The less roasted coffees are less acidic. Okay. So if you're trying to do, if you're worried about that, you can drink less acidic coffees. I like the espresso. My acidosis is really under control right now. I feel really good. If I started to feel my joints ache, flare-ups of some latent, pain from my systemic acidosis, which was branded fibromyalgia, I would back off. Or if I was really trying to go in for a heavy detox. But yeah, I love the Italian coffees. I love the Illy, Illy. It's unbelievable coffee, and you can get it at Whole Foods or an Italian grocer. It's really amazing. And Lavazza, Lavazza is wonderful too. Yeah, get organic if you can. These aren't organic coffees, but they're really good. So, anyways, that's one of my little cheats, But I don't, as far as detox goes, and we're talking about detox, I don't recommend it for that. But for day-to-day living, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna, it goes back to what I've been saying. If you're gonna have a cheat, man, make it a good one. If you're gonna go have pizza one night, don't eat a lot, have a slice, but man, make that the best pizza you can get your hands on. you know and if you're going out for your cheat, have something that you would never ever have. Okay, just be conscious and make it a good one, and know your limits. Like Clint Eastwood said, a man's got to know his limitations. So anyways, yeah, the combination of all that together, and let's face it, coffee is an herb. It really truly is. It's a fantastic herb, and It really turns on my morning. And I do fruit smoothies all morning long, and I have that 1 cup of coffee. I'm a very early riser. I'm up at sometimes 4:35 in the morning. It's when I have my most creative energy. So by having that Kickstarter, it really is wonderful for my morning. Okay. Um, all right. Okay. So Miriam, should you get kidney filtration every day while on a raw fruit diet? Yeah, it would be great. Does everybody get it every day? No. There's a lot of strangeness to that, and I've talked about that. There's a lot of nuances and subtleties to kidney filtration. You know, like I said in previous conversations, that I've had kidney filtration after having a cheat night too. So, yeah, it's hard to know. You're gonna get it when you're doing the herbs for sure. Especially the GI broom. For some reason that really kicks in mine. Lymphatic herbs, things like that. But it would be great if you got it every day. Do the best you can. Your aim is to always have kidney filtration to some degree. That would be wonderful. But like I talked about last week extensively, we have this sort of what I call the seepage effect. When they go to pump oil out of the ground, they can't just keep pumping the oil. They've got to give it the ground a rest and let the oil seep back in. All right, it's sort of the same with filtration. Let's say that you have filtration in the morning, right? And you hadn't ate or drank anything for 10, 12 hours. And then, you're drinking, water or teas or whatever in the morning, having your smoothies, whatever, and you're not getting filtration like you did. Well, you're flushing, all right? And let's say you're doing some of the kidney herbs too, which are very diuretic, then you're flushing. So you lost your seepage now. So of course you're going to have less filtration, and maybe to the point where you're not seeing it. And like Barbara told me to remind you all a few weeks ago, go into a dark room, take the flashlight, and shine it up under your glass jar or cup, and you just might see more, crystalline flakes than you thought you did. Okay, so hope that helps. But any filtration is welcome. Okay, some people don't have any. So, Galena, are you still experiencing serious technical difficulties? I don't think so. If anybody else is seeing some technical difficulties, let me know. I've got a green bar here. It looks like it's been going great. My stream health looks really good here. So it might be you guys, okay? But report in if anybody has any glitches, okay? And okay. So Daniel writes in, hi, Mark, Dr. Morse recommends GI broom if you have a lot of orange around the pupils. Does it take a long time to cleanse that out? GI broom costs a fair amount, and I'm very limited on funds. Yeah, that's sulfur. If you go to last week's broadcast, I talk extensively about the sulfur, and I also have a video that I put out a few weeks ago that is exclusively talking about the sulfur. Okay, and yeah, it sometimes can take a long time to get out. I think that $30 for the GI broom is some of the best money you could ever spend, especially if you have sulfur in the gut. But I say do a bag or two, then take a break. Give the bowels a break, because that stuff is very powerful. It's very cleansing, and yeah, give yourself a break on that. But I think it's money well spent, and yeah, the sulfur unfortunately can take a long time to get out. And like Steve said last week, in his infinite wisdom and inspiration, he said that nature's mill grinds slow but sure. So it's going to take as long as it takes. But save your money, and get more. I wish I had a cheap workaround for the GI broom. I don't. I think it's a pretty fair price for that, especially if you buy the bulk herbs. And I know he has a capsule, that's expensive if you actually weigh the amount of herbs you're getting. So do get the bags of it, and do a bag or two, take a break, okay? And I hope that helps, and I hope you get rid of that, because it is, yeah, the sulfur is very nasty. Okay. Um, and then Miriam says, "Yep, I did. Thanks, and I don't see it." Okay, so are you getting any filtration at all, Miriam? You know, that's the important thing. Okay. I don't remember if you wrote in and said you were getting any. You wrote in and said you want to see it every day. Yes, but yeah, you want to see some. So watch my kidney filtration videos. If you're not getting filtration, I'll give you a lot of tips on how to do it. Write to me if you need more help. Um, go high grapes. Try some of the mono fruits, the high grapes and lemons. Uh, Fast. They're not really fast, but they're just a diet. And try to get this going. Once you kind of turn the spigot on, it sort of starts going more and more and more. But sometimes getting that initial spigot open is a lot of work. Okay. Yes, I do, but I don't see it every day. Okay, so you got the spigot open. So just keep digging in, and with the herbs and the high, especially astringents like the lemons, oranges, and the grapes, like I say. Watermelon when it's in season, fantastic. Watermelon is one of those things. It doesn't. It seems like, oh, I'm just having this watermelon. It's just a bunch of water. But watermelon is surprisingly powerful as far as a detoxifier, and as far as flushing the kidneys and helping with filtration. It's a very powerful mono fruit protocol. Okay, the root cause. I am on Detox Kids Week 8. All right. The last week I've been bedridden with bad sciatica. Just wondering if this could be a healing crisis. Yeah, the sciatica is tied to the kidneys. So you might be experiencing sometimes the acids will get released. We'll be going along fine, and all of a sudden we'll just uncover a pocket of acids, and boom, then they're trying to get out, and they start inflaming and burning on the way out. So that could be it. How are your kidneys? How is your filtration? Let me know. Let's talk about this more right now, and see if we can't help you out. Yeah, you're far along on week 8. So yeah, you're a few months into this, so you've been digging deep, and congratulations. I don't know what you've been, what you're trying to heal, but let us know more here, and yeah, let's try and work this out in real time here with you. Daniel, thanks, Mark. I'll check out the videos, and I will do my best to order as much as possible the GI broom, and then take breaks. Thanks again. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, $30. I mean, that's just like one restaurant meal these days. So yeah, save your money for that. It's just such, of all the herbs. I mean, the Heal All Tea, or my product Giovanna Tea. These are cheap, in the grand scheme of things. You get a lot of herbs, and they do a lot. They work so many different areas. So if you don't have a lot of money, if you can combine high fruit and the mono fruit fasts, like I said, and the GI broom and the Giovanna or the Heal All, those will do a lot of work. Okay. So if you're limited on funds, that's what I would do. Very little filtration so far, and he's on week 8. Okay. What are you suffering from? Let us know that, and maybe I can help you there. Okay. And what are your blood pressures? Do you know your blood pressures? Let's see how inflamed those kidneys are. Okay. And have your blood pressures changed as you detox? I had somebody write in that they started to detox, and their cholesterol and triglycerides went up, and I thought about that. It's like, wow, why would that go up if they're detoxing? Because you'd think that, that the liver would be cleansing, and that you would be getting more of the acidosis out of the body. And when you think about it, when you sort of just really stop and think, okay, we're talking about, either acid or alkaline. Okay, so when we're talking about cholesterol, we're talking about acidosis. All right, and we're either talking about the blood system or the lymph system. Well, the lymph deals with the acids. Okay, All right. So we're talking about acidosis and the lymph system. All right. When we talk about cholesterol. So the body fights acids with cholesterol from the liver. Okay. So if you have weak adrenals and you're not making enough of your own antacid steroids, the body has to rely more on the liver for cholesterol. Okay. So that's why your cholesterols go up. Okay. So during a detox, you might be kicking up some acids, uncovering some acids, moving them out, and requiring more, antacids to fight that. You might be in a healing crisis, which is, a releasing of acidosis in the body. All right, so that's what's boosting. You're actually going through a healing crisis. Would be my estimation of why you are going up. You're fighting more acids. And I'm assuming that you're on an alkalizing diet of high fruit and leafy greens. Okay. So anyway, so that's sort of it on the cholesterol. Cholesterol is a lymphatic problem, not a blood problem. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to my questions that have come in during the week. The sheriff writes in on Candida. So how would you suggest going about this? Like eating a heavy leafy green diet until it's all cleared out and then reintroduce fruit? If you can make a video on this, that would be great. Okay, well, here's your video right now. Okay, so, all right, so when we talk about Candida, it's going to be the same as when we just talked about herpes, okay? The Candida is a fungal load, all right? And the way to get rid of the funguses or the virals is detoxification, moving the lymph system, all right? So, and you want to take an herb especially, an herbal formula especially to kill the Candida, which is Dr. Morse's Parasite M. All right, it's got a lot of anti-parasitic herbs in there, and it is really powerful. A bottle or two, take it for, one bottle lasts 2 weeks. I say go for a month of it. You can combine it with the Parasite G. A lot of times when we have the micro parasites, we have the bigger ones too, like the flukes and the worms and the pinworms and all those kinds of things. So you can do the Parasite M and the Parasite G if you can afford it. Do a month of that. Detox your bowels. Okay, the bowels is where the sulfur is, so you want to get rid of that there, and then you want to move lymph, get the adrenals up. You want to do a detox, and then combine it with the anti-parasite herbs. Okay, and nothing cleanses, nothing alkalizes, and nothing moves lymph like the fruits. So in answer to the first part of your question, no, you don't start with the leafy greens. You start with the fruit, okay? And you end with the fruit, provided you can handle the fruit. Some bodies are so toxic they can't even have a little bit of fruit. They've got to work their way up into the fruits. And you can do that starting with the cooked vegetables if you're really acidic, then going to the green drinks and the soft leafy green raw salads, and then easing into the fruit if you have to. But for most of us, we can go right into the fruit, and we can introduce the herbs, and we can move lymph and detox this right out of us. Okay, so I hope that helps the sheriff. Go arrest that Candida, will you? So, sorry for the bad joke there. All right, so Trisha T writes in: are there any herbs to take to get the lymphatic system moving? I suffer with fibromyalgia and arthritis. Dr. Morse says eat fruits, but he mentioned herbs, but I'm not sure what herbs to take. Okay, so are there any herbs that specialize in the lymphatic system? Absolutely. You've got your plantain, your chaparral, your poke root, your cleavers, okay? But I suggest herbal formulas. And like I say, I never suggest just moving one area at a time. So let's say that you take a really powerful lymphatic herb, and they're all powerful, trust me. But let's say you take a plantain or even a chaparral, which is super powerful. Poke root, super duper powerful. All right, so let's say you take one of those and you get the lymph moving, but let's say your kidneys aren't filtering. Your kidneys are closed up, they're inflamed. you're going to be smashing acids into those kidneys, okay? And you're going to inflame them even more, and you're going to hurt those kidneys, all right? So that's why we want to do the all-over detox, all right? So, you can start out with the Fab 4 kit, Dr. Morse's Fab 4. You get a little lymphatic herb with that, and some kidney herbs. But we want to really start with the kidneys, move a little bit of lymph, but not much, clean the bowels, get the endocrine glands up, and then we can really focus on moving lymph once we get that door open, okay? Hope that helps. And that's really the basis of everything right there, what I just said. The 4-way detox and using the herbs and the high fruit, if you can handle it. Okay? All right, so let's see here what's back here. Okay, the root cause has very little filtration so far. So very little is better than none. You've got the door open, just keep working it. Maybe move up on your lymphatic herbs a little bit. As long as you've got some filtration, you can try and do that. If you start experiencing kidney pain or anything like that, or UTIs, back off. Okay, but any filtration is good. More kidney herbs. You want to do 2 kidney herbs at a time. You want to do start with kidney 1 capsules, kidney 2 tincture. Okay, always do the capsules and the tincture together. Okay, look at that kit 1. Okay, Dr. Morse's kit 1 has that combination in there, and it also has the anti-parasite herbs, which everybody in the start of a detox should do the anti-parasitic herbs, because we all have those in us, and that will really help you detox. Okay, and also you want to do a liver gallbladder flush too if you haven't done one in a while. Okay, so that's the start of any basic detox. Okay, my blood pressure has been about 125/85. I have type 2 diabetes. Blood sugar still on the high side. Okay, so type 2 diabetes. All right, so let's look at that. So we've got 125/85. All right, so we're just gonna look at the adrenals. 125 is right in the ballpark there. 85 is high. So that's telling me the kidneys are still inflamed. Okay, you want to get that between 60 and 70, that lower number. Okay, so that's detoxification. That's the kidney herbs. Okay, that's the 4-way detox like we talked about. Blood sugar still on the high side. Okay, so the blood sugar with type 2 is really an adrenal problem. The adrenals control the sugar metabolism. Okay, so as you detoxify, those adrenals will clear out along with your kidneys. Your blood sugars will start to normalize even more. The pancreas will start to clear out, and it'll start to normalize. So detoxification, okay? You're close here. You're close. I don't know what your blood sugars are, but your blood pressures are close here. Okay, Mark, due to technical problems, I will see what happens after you post this. Oh, I'm sorry, Gigi. Yeah, let me know what kind of computer you're using. If it was a home computer or was a tablet or a phone. I like to know these things. We've had good streaming from my end. The stream health has really not dropped off. So we've been good. Okay. All right. Let me go back to. Go back to the questions that have come in during the week here. Vivian writes in, I wish you would explain why and how grapes are the most powerful when you place them under subfruits. Oh, okay, yeah, so there's different classifications of the fruits. The first is acid fruits, okay? And this is kind of a misnomer. The acid fruits are your lemons, your limes, your oranges, even your strawberries, and they're called pineapples too. They're called acid fruits because they taste acidic, okay? But they're really super alkalizing, all right, to the body. So it's a bit of a misnomer. And they're actually the most powerful alkalizers, okay? They really alkalize us. The subacid fruits are where your grapes are, and it doesn't mean that they're below, the others. They're not subfruits; they're just subacid. In other words, they're less acidic tasting. Okay, and this is where the bulk of your real healing fruits are. This is where your grapes are. This is where your peaches, your plums, your pears, your apples. All those wonderful fruit. The mangoes and cherimoyas and all these wonderful fruits. Okay, that's where they reside. Okay, and then your sweet fruits, they're not very alkalizing. They're not very detoxifying. Those are your bananas and your dates and things like that. So those are less. So those are kind of your three things. But yeah, they're not subfruits. They're just called subacid fruits. Okay. And yeah, your grapes are super energetic, like I mentioned. They're super alkalizing, and yeah, the grapes are powerful, powerful healers. Dr. Morse always talks about the woman. She was a model. She had bone cancer, which is really, really super hard to detox out, and she nailed it in, I think, 42 days. Was cancer-free in 42 days with the grapes. Okay, so they are powerful. Don't underestimate them. She has another question. Does a veggie wash get out the pesticides that have been soaked into the fruit? I would say no. I would say no. I don't know how they could reach in there and do that. That's why you always want to buy organic. But, we can't always find organic. So, the veggie washes will help us out. I mean, quite frankly, we're being bombarded by toxins all day long. We cannot avoid them. The best solution is to detox them. Always be detoxing to some degree, eating an alkaline diet. High fruit will keep everything moving. But we can never really avoid toxins. Just do the best you can. No, it won't get it all out. And there's people that are so toxic they can't handle any kind of pesticides at all. So be very careful. Yeah, no, a veggie wash is not the answer to organic in any way. Okay, but do the best you can. And if you're really suspect about the fruit, there's fruits that even though they're not organic are less susceptible to pesticide, like your melons. They have this thick skin on them that will protect you from that. Your bananas, obviously, things like that. So, but your thin skin things or your real porous skin things like peaches, strawberries, the berries in general, God, try to eat organic, so much better. And I hear the pineapples are really sprayed a lot too. So organic can really make a difference on that. Okay. Oh, she has another question. Oh, it's really hard to see why one should fight to stay in this horrible world when one is being poisoned from all angles. Ooh, yeah, I understand that. If you really do start digging into things, it really can appear that way. And quite honestly, humanity is waking up on such a massive scale right now, and it can be overwhelming. And I always say that, when I started to wake up, it just wasn't in one area. I got this health awakening, and then I got into the foods, and I got into the high fruit and the high raw, and then my consciousness, if you will, started to awaken, and I saw the political world differently. I just saw everything differently, and it got to be very overwhelming. So Vivian, I understand what you're saying, and as many dark forces as you start to see uncovered, remember that everything's in balance. There's also good forces too. All right, but the thing is that we have to stay in the light. Okay, and we have to protect ourselves as sovereign individuals, sovereign souls, if you will. Okay, don't ever blindly trust any large institution, corporations or governments. Okay, they don't have your individual interest in mind. They have their interest in mind. It's totally separate from yours. All right. So, but nature, or God, if you will, has your best interest in mind. So always go back to basics. Okay. Always go back to basics. Stay small. Keep it simple. Okay. Stay natural. Stay in the natural world, and you won't be overwhelmed. And I always remember what Dr. Morse said. When I was first. Oh, look at Bitsy got in the so jeez. When Dr. Morse first started getting into the the high fruit, his spirituality really started to become awakened, and he said he went on a 40-day orange fast, and he said that he had to stop because he was literally leaving the ground. I mean, he was leaving his body. His spiritual self was becoming so awake, and he wasn't used to it. He had to reground himself. Okay, so that's something to look out for. You can actually become ungrounded with this. So be careful of that. Walk around barefooted. Eat some root vegetables if you start feeling ungrounded. If you start to feel overwhelmed, like Vivian, start to, it might be a sign that you need to reground. So your beets and your sweet potatoes. I don't eat regular potatoes because they're nightshades. I don't do well with the nightshades. But the sweet potatoes are anti-inflammatory. If you're gonna have a cooked vegetable, they're fantastic. They will ground you. Your beets will ground you. Your carrots will ground you. Parsnips, things like that. So that should help you out. But just remember, there's always good forces out there too. Don't get overwhelmed, even though we are being bombarded, by the GMOs, by the fluoride in the water. This is a huge subject. I'm going to get into this. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a known poison. It's in rat poison. It was used in the concentration camps. It is in a lot of the municipal water supplies. I know people are waking up to it. A lot of cities are taking it out, but it has, some say it's lowered the IQs about 20 points in people. So we are being bombarded. Just don't drink tap water, please. Consciousness will, you will raise, but you will get more information. You'll be able to protect yourself more, okay? And like I say, always go back to nature. It's the one that has your best interests, okay? All right. So, Gigi, okay. So she's on an Android phone. That's why she had okay, so the phones are having the technical problems. That's good to know. I still have the green here. So, anyway, so we're doing good. It's going back to your observation too. No GMOs, no fluoride, no pesticides, no fake food, no food with labels on it in boxes. No fake restaurants. These places are just horrible. It's all processed, genetically modified foods for the most part. Eat organic. Grow your own if you can. Even if you can grow some tomatoes or just anything, start growing that. That'll actually put you back in touch with the earth, back in touch with nature. Okay, so start growing your own stuff. That'll help you too. Okay. Verborgine, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Verborgine. Hi Mark, I've been following your teachings and going strictly mono fruit diet for 3 months straight. Fantastic, wow. Trying to get kidneys to filter and adrenals back up. I'm also taking kidney and adrenal tinctures. I got my blood work back from my doctor and my triglycerides are high. And my HDL and LDL are low. My last blood test revealed normal. Is this a normal and intelligent response to environmental stimulus? Your thoughts, please. Thank you so much. So fats are high. Blood work back. Yeah, are you... Okay, so you're doing this. I got to know if you're doing, if you're getting kidney filtration. Sometimes we'll do these detoxes, right? If we're not filtering, we have acids circulating through the body. They're not really getting out. They're trying to get out through the skin, but they're not getting out quick enough. So the body's going to try and fight it. Okay, and lipids are a great way to fight it. Okay. They're anti-inflammatory and they buffer acids. So yeah, I'd have to know if you're getting kidney filtration. Otherwise, guys, you recircle the acids back in. And yeah, that's why the number one thing is the kidney filtration. All right. And so it says you're trying to get your kidneys to filter. So yeah, this is the first thing. So be very careful with the lymphatic herbs, especially. Make sure that you're detoxing the bowels, okay? Verborgine. Make sure that you're doing the four-way detox like I talked about, all right? And yeah, you might be recirculating back, okay? All right. And so we're getting close here to the end. Here's a couple more questions. Anonymous, do the herbs cause you to get sick and you mistake this as a detox? Ah, boy. No. No. I don't, unless you're doing a huge amount of these herbs, they're not going to make you sick. Yeah, the healing crisis is a healing crisis. You know, um, yeah, I mean, look, you're going to get when you're really going through a healing crisis, when you're really seriously detoxing, guys, you're going to get cold and flu-like symptoms. You're going to be stirring up mucus. The mucus is going to try to expectorate from the body. It's going to come out of your lungs. It's going to come out of your throat, esophagus. It's going to come out of your bowels. It's going to come out of a lot of places. Your body is going to raise your core temperature up, your fever, to try and open up that skin to kick out this stuff. It's going to try and kick up, pounds and pounds of toxins out of the body a day. So yeah, this is a healing crisis. The herbs do not make you sick. The herbs that Dr. Morse uses do not make you sick. Okay, so they get you well. All right. All right. So that's it. Let me just clean up the live questions here, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Oscar Garcia, I don't have many varieties of fruit in right now. What about frozen fruits? Yes, frozen fruits are your next best. So let's say that here's the hierarchy. Let's say you go to the market and you can get some non-organic blueberries. Let's say you can get some organic blueberries. Fantastic, buy those. Let's say you can find some non-organic. But then you go over to the frozen section and you can find some organic blueberries that are frozen. That would be choice number 2 for me. Number 3 would to buy the inorganic and to veggie wash them. Okay? Hope that helps. So frozen's not the end of the world. Okay? I actually use a lot of frozen berries myself. Okay. Lori, hi Mark. Could you comment regarding using onion and garlic during detox, please? Thank you so much. I don't use them during detox. They're high sulfur. And I'm not so down on the sulfur. You're welcome, Oscar. I'm not so down on the sulfur that's actually in the foods. What I'm down on is the sulfur that is already in your body from the previous antibiotic use, mostly the inorganic sulfur compounds. And when you take the onions and the garlic, it's going to aggravate that sulfur that's inside you, and it can become very irritating. And what's the body going to do with an irritation? It's going to march in and inflame it. So, we're trying to get rid of inflammation, not add to it. So yeah, they're not really our friends in that regard. And I believe in Ayurveda, the Indian healing modalities, that garlic is not liked. Okay. I don't know why I crave them, mostly garlic. Sometimes these little candidas inside of us, I would really look at your eyes, Lori, and see if you have orange in your eyes. You possibly have candida, because these guys are smart. They may want you to have it so they can proliferate more. Never underestimate the intelligence even of a cell, you guys. I mean, it's phenomenal, the intelligence that's inside of us. Some say that the DNA that's in every cell, the thought is now going to that it's actually, think of it as an antenna. It's a receiver transmitter. Like this computer I have is super duper intelligent, but when I plug into the overmind of the internet, the collective mind, it becomes infinitely powerful. And this is what I believe the cells are, even these pathogens that are inside of us. It is not the intelligence we want. It's sort of something that's not supposed to be there. It's sort of a bad house guest. We want it to leave, and so we We want to kick out the bad guys and and get rid of the squatters. Okay, so yeah, so Lori is on the protocol for Candida. Yes, yes. So stay away from that. Okay, and that'll help you out. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That was a great session. I appreciate you all joining us. And yeah, just remember it's super simple. It really, truly is. We have a sewer system. We have a lymphatic system. All we have to do is clean it. We get rid of the acids. 98% of this stuff is all acidosis. Acids inflame the body. They can cause the tissues to degenerate. They can also obstruct areas. They can cause this lymph to thicken where pathogens can come in and they can find a home and start to overtake us, okay? The virals, the bad bacterias, the bad funguses, all that. So there's not much that you can trace that isn't tied to the lymph system and acidosis, okay? So lose your concept of diseases. They're pretty much just made up names, and they become this mysterious thing, and the medical industry will come in and try to treat it specifically. I say in the very first video that I ever did, the basic lymphatic detox, I say, why try to kill the individual alligators when you can just drain the swamp? Okay, you got a dirty swamp, you got a dirty sewer, just drain it and all these bad guys leave. Okay. Gigi got the last 10 minutes perfect. Okay, so yeah, the post will be up in about a half hour. Thank you so much, and get back to nature. Mother Nature is your friend, and she loves you, and she wants to heal you. Okay, and don't think too much. Don't use the mind too much. Go back to the mother. She's here to help you. Okay. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.